Okay. Good evening. Shabbat Shalom. Last service of the year. We're finishing strong, we hope. Hi. Bim, bam, bim, 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 bam, bim, 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 bam, bim, bam, bim, 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 bam, bim, 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 bam. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat, 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 Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat, 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 Shabbat Shalom. My name's Jeff Gingold. I'll be leading the service tonight with lots of help from the folks in the audience here. Welcome to everybody online, everyone here. We're using our usual synagogue book. So you have that online if you need it, and those in the audience, of course, have it. I'd like you to turn to page 6, to the prayer at the top of the page. I'm going to read the first paragraph, and I'd like us together to read the second paragraph. We enter this sanctuary to welcome Shabbat. Within these walls, we sit surrounded by numberless generations. Our ancestors built the synagogue as a visible sign of God's presence in their midst. Throughout our long history and our endless wanderings, it has endured, a beacon of truth, love, and justice for all humanity. Its presence guided our ancestors to lives of righteousness, holding up to them a vision of their truest selves. Together, now we, in our turn, come into this sanctuary to affirm the sacredness of our lives. May we enter this place in peace. May holiness wrap around us as we cross its threshold. Weariness, doubt, the flaws within our human hearts, the harshness of the weak, let these drop away at the door. In the brightness of Shabbat, let peace settle upon us as we lift our hearts in prayer. Okay, and I'd like to invite Jane Townley, my wife, to light the candles, please. On page 2, if anyone wants to see it. This is the 4th service of the month, so everyone's wearing masks in the audience. Only take the mask off only when you come up if you're going to be reciting. Otherwise, please, 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 everyone's required to wear a mask for safety.
My lovely wife.
My lovely wife, Jane. Not my, no.
Blessed are you, Adonai, our God, sovereign of the universe, who hallows us with mitzvot, commanding us to kindle the lights of Shabbat.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat. Thank you.
I'm the only one who calls up who gets to do that.
Well, damn.
Okay. Page 10. Hine matov, how good and pleasant it is that brothers and sisters dwell together. Hine matov umanayim shevet achim gam yachad. Hine matov umanayim shevet achyot gam yachad. Hine matov shevet achim gam yachad. Hine matov shevet achyot gam yachad. And now we turn to page 20 for Lecha Dodi, And we're doing something revolutionary this evening. We're doing verses 1, 3, 5, and 9. You all ready for something new and different, right? 1, 3, 5, and 9. Okay. Lecha dodi likrat kala yadadai 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 pnei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha dodi likrat kala yadadai 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 pnei Shabbat nekabela. Shamor vezachor bedibur echad Hishmianu el hamiyuchad Adonai echad ushmo echad L'shemul tiferet ve'letila Lecha dodi likrat kala yadadai 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 Pnei Shabbat nekabela Lecha dodi likrat kala yadadai 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 Pnei Shabbat. Verse 3. Dai dai mikdash melech yir melucha kumitzi mitocha chafecha Rav lach shevet be'emek habacha Vehu yachamol alai chemla Lecha dodi likrat kala yadadai 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 Pnei Shabbat nekabela Lecha dodi likrat kala yadadai 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 Pnei Shabbat nekabela Hitoreri, hitoreri, kiva orech kumi ori, uri, shir daberi, kevod Adonai alayich negila, lecha dodi likrat kala yadadai, 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 pnei Shabbat, nekabela lecha dodi likrat kala yadadai 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 pnei Shabbat nekabela boi chalom ateret ba'ala gam besimcha uvetzochala Toch emune am segula boi chala lecha dodi likrat kala yadadai 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 pnei Shabbat nekabela lecha dodi likrat kala yadadai 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 pnei Shabbat Nekabela. You may be seated. Was that painful? To do it differently? New and revolutionary. Okay. Let's turn to page 22. Mizmor Shir. Okay, we're going to do a song. Mizmor Shir leyom haShabbat tov lehodot lahadonai ולזמר לשמך עליון, ולזמר לשמך עליון, להגיד בבוקר חסדך, ואמונתך בלילות, עלי עשור ועלי נבל, עלי היגיון בכינור, מזמור שיר ליום השבת, טוב להודות לאדוני, ולזמר לשמך עליון, ולזמר לשמך עליון, כי שמחתני אדוני בפעלך, במעשה ידיך ארנן, Ma gadlu ma'asecha Adonai me'od amku mechashvotecha mizmor shir leyom haShabbat tov lehodot lahadonai ulezamer leshimcha elyon ulezamer leshimcha Elyon. Thank you, thank you. On page 26, we'll sing together the Hatzi Kaddish. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei rabbah v'alma divrach yutei v'yamlich malchutei b'chayechon uv'yomechon uv'chayei dechol beit Yisrael bahagala uv'zman ka'ariv v'imeru Amen. Yehei shmei rabbah mevorach le'olam u'lalmei almaya yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalahar shemei dekudesha b'richu La'ela min kol birchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechemata da'amiran bi'alma v'imeru Amen. Will you rise, please? And page 28 is the Baruch Hu. Hi da 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 da. Hi da 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 da. Hi da 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 da. Hi da 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 da. Hi da 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 da. Hi da 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 da. Hi da 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 da. Yai da dai 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 dai. Bachu et Adonai hamivorach baruch Adonai hamivorach hamivorach Le'olam va'ed hamivorach hamivorach Le'olam va'ed. And on page 29, I'd like us together to read the prayer at the top of the page in English. There is one who sings the song of his own life, finding everything within himself. There is one who leaves the circle of herself and sings the song of her people. There is one whose voice rings with the song of humanity, hoping for the highest perfection. And there is one who rises even higher, uniting with all creatures, with all worlds, filling the universe with song. Nivarech, let us bless. On page 32, Ahavat Olam, everlasting love. Ahavat Olam, Beit Yisrael, Amcha Ahavta, Torah u'mitzvot, chukim u'mishpatim, Otanu lemadita, al kein Adonai Eloheinu, b'shachbeinu u'bekumeinu, nasiach bechukecha, v'nismach b'divrei Toratecha, u'v'mitzvotecha, leolam va'ed. Ki hem chayenu v'yorech yameinu uvahem nege yomam v'layla. Ki hem chayenu v'yorech yameinu uvahem nege yomam v'layla. V'yahavtecha tasil mimenu leolamim. Baruch atah Adonai ohev amo Yisrael. And on page 34 together, Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad, Baruch Shem. Kevod malchuto leolam va'ed. You may be seated, and together we sing and chant together on page 36, the V'ahavta. V'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levavcha u'b'chol nafshecha Uvechol miodecha, vehayu hadvarim ha'ele, asher anochi mitzavecha, hayom alevavecha, veshinantam livanecha, v'dibarta bam, v'shiftecha b'veitecha, uvlechtecha v'aderech, Ushachbecha ubekumecha, ukshartam liot al yadecha, v'hayu letotafot bein einecha, uchtavtam al mezuzot beitecha, uvihisharecha, lemahan tizkeru, v'asitem et kol mitzvotai, Vitem kedoshim leloechem. Ani Adonai Elohechem. Asher hotzeiti etchem me'eretz Mitzrayim liot lachem lelohim. Ani Adonai Elohechem. Adonai Elohechem emet. And let's read the translation of that on page 37. It's a loose and lovely modern translation. Together, love your God with every heartbeat, with every breath, with every conscious act. Keep in mind the words I command you today. Teach them to your children. Talk about them at work. Whether you are tired or you are rested, let them guide the work of your hands. Keep them on the forefront of your vision. Do not leave them at the doorway of your house or outside your gate. They are reminders to do all of my mitzvot so that you can be holy for God. I am Adonai your God. I led you out of Egypt to become your God. I am Adonai your God. Page 40. We'll do the snappy version of Michamocha. Yai dai 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 da da dai ya da dai 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 yai dai 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 da da dai ya da dai 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 yai dai da dai 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 ya da dai 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 yai dai da dai 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 ya da dai 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 mihi chamocha ba'elim Adonai. Mihi kamocha nedar bakodesh, norati hilot oho sefel, norati hilot oho sefel, mahalechutecha ra'uvanecha, בוקע ים לפני משה ומרים, זה אלי אנו ואמרו, Adonai yimloch le'olam va'ed, v'ne'emar kifad Adonai et Yaakov, u'go'alo miyad chazak mimenu, baruch ata Adonai go'al Yisrael. And let's turn to page 44. And sing Yismachu, that's at the bottom of the page. Everybody there? Good. Yismachu b'malechutecha, shomrei, 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 Shabbat v'konei, oneg Shabbat. Yismachu b'malechutecha, shomrei, 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 Shabbat v'korei, oneg Shabbat. Mikadeshei, Mikadeshei Shvi Shabbat, Kulam Yespeu, V'yitangu mituvecha Shabbat, Yismechu b'malechutecha, Shomrei, 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 Shabbat v'korei, oneg Shabbat, Yismechu b'malechutecha, Shomrei, 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 Shabbat v'korei, oneg Shabbat, v'hashvi'i ratzita bo v'kidashto Shabbat, chemdat yamimoto, yaminoto karata Shabbat, yismechu b'malechutecha, shomrei, 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 Shabbat v'korei, oneg Shabbat, yismechu b'malechutecha, shomrei, 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 Shabbat v'korei, oneg Shabbat. Zecher lema'aseh bereshit Shabbat, zecher lema'aseh bereshit Shabbat, yismechu b'malechutecha, shomrei, 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 Shabbat v'korei, oneg Shabbat, yismechu b'malechutecha, shomrei, 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 Shabbat v'korei, oneg Shabbat. Very good audience participation. Now we're going to do the Amidah prayer beginning on page 46, So please rise and join us. Amidah la'amod, to stand, to be upright. Adonai sifatai tiftach, ufi agita hilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips, that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu, Elohei Avoteinu v'Imotenu, Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor v'Hanora, Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, V'konei Hakol, V'zocher Chastei Avot v'Imahot, U'mevi Geula Livnei Bneihem, L'man Shemo B'Ahava, Melech Ozer u'Mashiach Magen, Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Abraham, Ve'ezrat Sarah, Atah Gibor Le'olam Adonai, Mechaye HaKol Atah Rab Lehoshia, Mashiv HaRuach u'Moed HaGashem, מחלקל חיים בחסד, מחיי הכל ברחמים רבים, סומך נופלים והופך עולים, ומתיר אסורים, ומקיים אמונתו לשני עפר, מי כמוך בעל גבורות, ומי דומה לך, מלך ממית ומחיה, ומצמיח ישועה, ונאמן אתה להחיות הכל. ברוך אתה אדוני מחיי הכל. אתה קדוש ושמך קדוש, וקדושים בכל יום יהללוך סלה. ברוך אתה אדוני האל הקדוש. We continue silently to page 62. Please feel free to be seated when you've completed the prayers or when you feel that it's time to sit. Assemble the people, men, women, and children, and the strangers in your cities to hear, to learn, to revere Adonai your God, to observe faithfully the words of this Torah. Let their children who do not yet know it hear, that they too may learn to revere Adonai your God. Okay. I would like to invite to join us for the first time carrying the Torah and joining us, Tamara and Aaron Ralston. Please come up. This way. And everyone rise, please. And we start on page 246. Ki mitzion tetzeh Torah. Ki mitzion tetzeh Torah. Udevar Adonai Mirushalayim. Next page, 248 at the top. Baruch Shenatan Torah Torah. Baruch Shenatan Torah Torah. Le'amo Yisrael B'kedushato. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad Echad Eloheinu Gadol Adonenu Kadosh Gadlul Adonai iti Uneromima Shemo Yachdav. Follow me. Lecha Adonai Hagedula V'Hagedura V'Hateferet V'Hanetzach V'Hahod Ki Chol Bashamayim U'Va'aretz Ki Chol Bashamayim U'Va'aretz Lecha Adonai Hamamlacha V'Hamit Naseh Lechol Lerosh Romemu Adonai Eloheinu V'Hishtachavu B'Har Kadsho. Romemu Adonai Eloheinu V'Hishtachavu Lehar Kadsho. Ki Kadosh Adonai Eloheinu Romemu. Ki Kadosh Adonai Eloheinu Romemu. Al Shlosha Divarim. Al Shlosha Divarim. Olam Omed. You may be seated. Mazel tov to you both. Thank you so much for the first time. They did great. Very good. Good. Okay. Our reading this evening is the last part of the first book of the Torah of Genesis. And we're going to read the last few lines. And remember, when we finish the lines of any one of the 5 books, after the reader chants, then the whole congregation together says, Chazak, Chazak, v'nit chazek. Together. Chazak, Chazak, v'nit chazek. Chazak, strong. So strong. And there are several translations, v'nit chazek. Some people say it means we'll all be strong. I like the one, let's strengthen each other. Let's strengthen us together. Our reader tonight will be Barton Barrow. Barton, please come up. And the aliyah will be Rabbi Myra. Ta'amot Rav Miriam Bat Shifcha v'Pinchas La Torah La Aliyah.
Do you know where you are?
Should be.
It's the opening line.
That's right there.
Do you want the, yeah,
Go ahead.
whoops. knocking things off here. All right. Baruch hu et Adonai hamborach.
Baruch Adonai Habarach Le'olam Va'ed.
Baruch Adonai hamborach le'olam va'ed. Baruch ata Adonai Eloheinu melech ha'olam. Asher bacha banu mikol ha'amim. V'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch ata Adonai noten ha'torah.
Amen.
Amen. Vayer Yosef Lephraim B'nei Shileshim Gaham B'nei Mochir Ben Menasha Yildu Alberke Yosef Vayomar Yosef El Achav An Anochi meit velohim pakod yifkod etchem ve'alo etchem min ha'oretz hazot el ha'oretz asher nishbah la'Avraham li'Yitzchak Uliyaakov Vayishbah Yosef et Bnei Yisrael lemor Pakod Yifkod Elohim etchem Va'alitem et Atzmotai mizeh Vayamat Yosef Ben Me'ah Va'aser Shanim Vayachantuhu Oto Vayisem Baron B'Mitzrayim
Together.
Chazak Chazak V'Nichazek.
Baruch ata Adonai Eloheinu melech ha'olam asher natan lanu Torat emet v'chayei olam nata b'tochenu. Baruch ata Adonai noten ha'torah.
All that together. May the one, and for the Aliyah, may the one who blessed our ancestors Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, Sarah, Rebecca, Rachel, and Leah, bless you, since you have come up to Torah in honor of God and Torah. May you merit from the Holy One of Blessing rescue from any trouble or distress and from any illness, minor or serious. May God send blessing and success in your every endeavor, together with Israel, and we all say together, Amen.
Thank you, my dear. I want everyone to know, though, I'm launching a campaign.
Let's hear it.
I want Zilpa and Bilcha in there, too. I think it's not fair.
We should talk about
We
that.
should talk about that. Yeah.
That's a good sermon. We'll work.
It
on
is.
Okay. Very good. You may sit down now. Okay. Okay. At this time, with the Torah in front of us, we think of those who are in need of healing of one sort or another, mind, body, or spirit. This evening, we're thinking of Kevin Ashton, Kathy Bartlett, Tracy Bartlett, Batya Talil, Laura Cohen, Margaret Theodora Doty, Dan Dworkin, Jeffrey Four, Shimon Avram Ben Sion Halevi, Stephen Gould, Marlene Harris, Debbie Herman, Kevin Knox, Letitia Kruger, Margaret Lewicki, Harav Miriam Bat Shifra Minchas, Harav Miriam Yael Chaya Bat Sarah, Vivian Morgan, Tim Ober, Leslie Pansky, Claire Petersky, Carol Pevney, Jackie Ramirez, Judy Ramos, Sarah Bat Chava, Shana Bracha Bat Esther Malka, Phil Shallett, Chris Stanton, Petra Suber, Bobby Wells, Usher Zalik, and we think of others away from here, Trenton McGregor and Airman First Class, all military personnel assisting him in Israel, and everyone affected by the coronavirus and the long COVID illness, Jewish and other communities of Ukraine, and everyone in Israel and Gaza and that part of the world. If you have other names you'd like to add to this list, please do so when I point in your direction. Yes?
Cindy Cooper, Tova McGilvray.
Kim Sullivan.
Terry Roth.
Alex Rabat and Melissa here.
Very good. And we sing the Misha Berach in the middle of page 253. Misha Berach Avotenu Mekor HaBracha Limotenu. May the source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Misha Berach Imotenu Mekor HaBracha Le'avotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen. And I'm going to invite Ellis Kruger up for a special reading that's on page 259. A prayer for the state of Israel.
O Heavenly One, protector and redeemer of Israel, bless the state of Israel, which marks the dawning of hope for all who seek peace. Shield it beneath the wings of your love. Spread over it the canopy of your peace. Send your light and truth to all who lead and advise, guiding them with your good counsel. Establish peace in the land and fullness of joy for all who dwell there. Amen.
Amen. Thank you very much. And now I'm going to invite John Louie and John Gomez up. I'd like you all to rise as we put the Torah away. Okay, page 252. First, who's going to lift? Who's going to be the?
I'll lift it.
You'll lift and then you'll dress. Okay, good. Together. V'zot haTorah asher sam Moshe lifnei bnei Yisrael al pi Adonai biyad Moshe. Dai 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 dai. Yai dai 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 dai. Yai dai 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 yai dai 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 dai. Yai dai 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 dai.
Yai dai 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 dai.
Yai
dai 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 dai.
Yai dai 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 yai dai 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 dai. Yai dai 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 dai. For I have given you good instruction, do not abandon my Torah. It is a tree of life for those who hold fast to it. All its supporters are happy. Its ways are ways of pleasantness. All its paths are peace. Return us to you, Adonai. We will return. Renew our days as of old. And together, 256 at the bottom. Etz Chaim hi lemachazikim ba v'tomchecha meushar derachecha darchei noam v'chol netivotecha Shalom, Ashivenu Adonai, Elecha v'nashuva, Chadesh, Chadesh Yameinu, Chadesh Yameinu Keker. You may be seated. A rabbi and his wife were cleaning up the house. The rabbi came across a box he didn't recognize, and his wife told him, "Leave it alone. It was something personal." One day she was out, and his curiosity got the best of him. He opened the box, and inside he found 3 eggs and $2,000. When his wife came home, he admitted that he opened the box, and he asked her to explain the contents to him. She told him that every time he had a bad sermon, she would put an egg in the box. He interrupted, "Oh, in 20 years? Only 3 bad sermons? That's not bad." His wife continued, "And every time I got a dozen eggs, I would sell them for $1. So it's hard work doing sermons, I'll tell you. Today our focus, as I said, is on the final portion of the book of Genesis, Vayechi. The word means, "and he lived," but it's actually about end of life. As we delve into the text, let us consider the lessons it holds for us in our own journeys. The portion begins with the patriarch Jacob on his deathbed, surrounded by his 12 sons. In these final moments, Jacob imparts his blessings and prophecies to each one of the sons, offering a unique insight into their individual characters and destinies. And as we reflect on this, we're reminded of the importance of legacy and the enduring impact of our own words and actions. One of the central themes of Vayechi is a recognition that a life well lived extends far beyond the individual. Jacob's blessings are not merely personal affirmations, they're a roadmap for the collective future of the tribes of Israel. And in our own lives, we're called to consider the broader implications of our choices, recognizing the interconnectedness of our existence. I find it interesting and at times a bit shocking as Jacob acknowledges the unique strengths and then weaknesses of each son, tailoring his blessings accordingly. Of Reuben, he says, "Reuben, thou art my firstborn, my might, and the firstfruits of my strength, the excellency of dignity, the excellency of power. But you're unstable as water, and you will not have the excellency going forward." In other words, he will not be the father of a great line of Jews going forward. "Because thou wentest up to thy father's bed, then defiledest thou it. He went up to my couch." And it turns out that Reuben had had an affair with his father's favorite concubine. And so the rest of this portion talks about the positive and negative of each. The portion also serves a reminder that life is a journey marked by both triumphs and tribulations. Jacob's life was filled with challenges and blessings, moments of joy and sorrow, and yet through it all, he lived with purpose and resilience. In times of uncertainty, we too can draw strength from our tradition, finding solace in the enduring values that have guided our people for generations. Vayechi challenges us to consider the legacy we're creating, not only for ourselves, but for future generations. What blessings will we bestow upon those who come after us? How will our actions contribute to the ongoing story of our people and to humanity as a whole? These questions compel us to live with intention, mindful of the impact our choices will have on the world we leave behind. And then toward the end, we turn our attention, as we did, as Barton read this evening, we turn our attention to the conclusion of the life of his son Joseph. In the latter part of Vayechi, we witness Joseph's own passing. Like his father, Joseph reflects on the journey of his life. Recognizing the divine hand that guided him through the highs and lows, his story is one of resilience, forgiveness, and the transformative power of faith. Joseph's life is a testament to the idea that even in the face of betrayal and adversity, even by your own family, one can rise above circumstances with grace and compassion. From the pit to the pinnacle of power, Joseph exemplifies the capacity for growth and redemption. And as we reflect on his life, we are reminded that our past does not have to define us. Rather, it can serve as a source of strength and wisdom. In his final moments, Joseph reassures his brothers, emphasizing that though they may have intended him harm, God turned it into good. The profound recognition speaks to the broader theme of divine providence woven through the Torah. It challenges us to view our own life experiences through a lens of faith, trusting that even in our darkest moments, there's a potential for transformation and purpose. As Jews, we find resonance in Joseph's commitment to forgiveness of his family. Despite the betrayal that he faced, he chose not to harbor resentment. Instead, he embraced his brothers with open arms, acknowledging that the trials they faced were part of a larger divine plan. In a world often marked by division and strife, Joseph's example calls us to cultivate a spirit of reconciliation and compassion. And as we absorb these teachings of Vayechi, we can draw strength from the legacies of both Jacob and Joseph. May we navigate the complexity of our own lives with the wisdom gleaned from their journeys. In the spirit of Joseph, let us foster forgiveness and reconciliation. And inspired by Jacob, let us impart blessing that extend beyond ourselves, shaping a future filled with purpose and with meaning. Now, I have to admit that I plagiarized much of what I just said. Anybody recognize who put that together, where that came from? Besides Jane, does anybody? Anybody else find that familiar? It actually came from a famous scholar called ChatGPT. Oh, you all know what ChatGPT is? Does anybody not know? Okay. Remember, ChatGPT is this fabulous instrument that's been available for the last year and a half that has a gigantic amount of all of human knowledge and that can spit out a sermon or a term paper or a college admission paper or a letter to all the thousands of employees in your company. And just for fun this time, I said to ChatGPT, write a sermon for a Reformed Jewish service concerning the portion of the Torah Vayechi. It should be about 5 or 7 minutes in length. About eight seconds later, out of my computer printer came the sermon. Were you aware that this was a possibility? All of you now who want to do a sermon, no, I'll tell you. And I said, I wonder, besides ChatGPT, I wonder if anyone else is specializing in this. So I took about 10 minutes just looking up, and I found Sermon AI, Sermon Prep, Sermon Outline AI, Sermonly, and Sermon GPT, and then another dozen or so. Really interesting now that there are terrific positives. And how many of you have used ChatGPT? Anybody use it professionally? Anybody get caught? It's sort of an interesting problem right now. What are the positives in a religious or in a synagogue sense? What are the positives of being able to have a sermon prepared in a very short time? The AI that you use will focus where it's instructed. So you say, do the sermon about Vayechi, or do a high holiday service focusing on one particular haftarah, and it'll do that for you. It's extremely quick. It takes it no time at all. As I say, within 5 seconds after I put the question in, out came the answer. The other thing that they're very good at are catchy titles. I didn't grab one, but I've seen some other things where they had really cool titles to different talks. The talks weren't so great, but the titles really drew you in. And you can use different styles. So you can say, write a sermon for a Friday night service, but I'd like it to be in the style of Hamilton, the Broadway show, and it'll do that. Or in a more serious note, you can say, I want a sermon that's aimed at teenagers or college-age kids, and it'll do that. It's extremely difficult now to decide. They've gotten so good that it's often difficult to know if the sermon was done by a human or done by an AI. And so now there are AIs that are built and trained to look at sermons and business letters and legal cases, and they're better than humans at deciding whether the thing you're putting in front of them was written by a machine or by a human, which is pretty interesting. What are the negatives about doing a sermon that was created by AI in 5 seconds? They can be very, very long or very, very short. If you don't ask the question the right way, you can go on and on and on and on. The major problem is that they often are sort of vague and generalized. They don't focus very much unless you ask the question in just the right way. And they don't usually create anything that sounds like a local or personal story, the way a rabbi would talk about something that happened to him or her recently, or something that their kids made them think about. This is more of a generalized thing. And as I said, they're written for the page rather than for the ear. So they're often kind of dry, and as this one I think was a bit dry and didn't have much bounce to it. And the other terrible business is this creation of hallucinations. Hallucinations are bits of information that when the AI doesn't have something to fill in a space, it makes it up. And I think you've heard about that attorney who submitted a series of cases in a brief, and the people looked up the cases that he had referred to. There were no such cases. The AI had made the cases up. So you have to be careful about what you're actually using and what you're doing. There's also an interesting positive or negative. You can say to the machine, I would like 10 sermons that were never delivered in the United States. And it'll give you sermons in English or in another language and then translated if they were only given in Australia, New Zealand, and England. So it's unlikely that somebody in your own community will know that. What experience, have anybody had experiences with AI that are interesting that they want to share? Positives or negatives?
Jeff, I'm shocked. I thought you wrote that whole thing.
Jane thought I was in the office writing that myself, she said. Well, I spent a lot of time learning about it, so that was why I was spending so much time doing that. Go.
I'm glad to hear it, because I was sitting here thinking, that doesn't sound like Jeff. It sounded canned to me, and it was not terribly insightful or creative, which you are. And I was sitting here thinking, what the hell is the matter with Jeff?
Myra, would you just come up here and just say that again so the audience can hear that?
So what I said was that I'm not impressed, because I think what the ChatGPT and AI lack is creativity. And I'm delighted to hear it with ChatGPT, because I was sitting here thinking, what's the matter with Jeff tonight? That doesn't sound like him. I mean, it sounded canned to me, and it didn't sound very insightful or very creative. Which was. I mean, it's just not thoughtful.
I think you're right. However, should we be teaching kids to use these instruments? And the answer probably is yes, because they're the future. And the answer will be to teach people to use these tools effectively, rather than saying, no, we got to prevent it from going anywhere. That's like saying, let's don't have airplanes, we'll all just stay on railroad, or let's don't use a computer to type, we can just use our old Underwood typewriter. I think it's going forward, and we'll just see what happens. But I'm just going to laugh and smile when I hear a sermon that sounds extra good or bad or has a really catchy title. I wonder where it really came from. Okay. Well, thank you all for that, for listening. Okay. I particularly like the rabbi and his wife, though. I thought that was pretty good to begin with.
Was that from the ChatGPT?
No, that was from Best Jewish Jokes dash rabbi. So I can give you the reference for that if you want. Let me get my, hold on. Okay, I'm going to ask Ashel Matthews to come up and open the ark for the Aleinu. And that'll be on page 282 at the bottom. Aleinu leshabeach ladon hakol, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, ודור עלינו ככל המונם. ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. Okay, you may be seated. Now we turn to remember those who are no longer with us in body. יש כוכבים שאורם מגיע ארצה, רק כאשר הם עצמם עבדו וענם. There are stars up above, so far away we only see their light long, long after the star itself is gone. And so it is with people that we loved. Their memories keep shining ever brightly, though their time with us is done. But the stars that light up the darkest night, these are the lights that guide us. As we live our days, these are the days, the ways we remember. And remember, that was written by Hannah Senesh, the great poet, scholar, warrior of World War II. Tonight, we have no recent deaths, but under Shloshim, we're remembering Rabbi David Ellenson, PhD, Sue Berkhammer, and for the first year of mourning, we recall Tova Bat Meyer Vertitza, Wendy Alderman, Raymond Russell Riker, Judith Tampkin, David Torshman, Lorenzo Otero, Anita Goldwasser, Jamie Smith, Mark Umlas, Francine Catherine Barr, Dave Levine, Tatiana Marie Granoff, Millie Ralston, Carol Ann Garris, Esther Bat Evron, Dr. Ellen Patricia Merkin, Scott Johnson, Eric Hobson, and Daniel B. Stage. And the yard sites tonight, we remember Jerry DiRococo, Lillian Solomon, Molly Diamond Cohen, Adele Gordon, Vivian Beals, Selma Ginsberg, Abraham L. Engel, Lillian R. Katz, Lois Ann Noose Bowles, Charles Rausch, and Gustav Kempler. If there are other names you'd like to recite, either put them in the chat on the computer, or we'll go around and anybody else who'd like to add a name, please do so. Raise your hand and I'll recognize you. Yes?
Lawrence Soifer.
Anyone else? Okay. Will you rise, please, and join me for the Kaddish, which is on page 294 together. Yitgadal v'yitgadash shemei rabbah, v'alma divrach irutei v'amliach malchutei, v'chayechon u'yomechon u'chayei d'chol beit Yisrael, v'agalav v'zman kariv v'imru amen. Yehei shmei rabbah nevarach le'olam u'olmei almayah. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitramam v'yitnaseh, v'yitadav, v'yitalev, v'yitalal, shmei dekudesha b'riyachu, Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbachata v'nechemata, ta'amiran v'yalma v'imru amen. Yehei shlama rabbah min shemaya, v'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael, v'imru amen. Oseh shalom b'mramav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu v'al kol Yisrael, v'imru amen. May the one who creates harmony on high bring peace to us, to all Israel, and to which we all say, Amen. You may be seated. And this evening's announcements will be done by John or... Is there an announcement sheet up here already? There's a sheet right there. All right.
Well, I'd like to thank everybody who helped put this service together. Jeff, thank you so much. And Tova for running the audio, AV, and Rabbi Myra for the wonderful Oneg I'm anticipating.
And you have to thank ChatGPT.
Yes, well, you credited them properly. So in my professorial thinking about ChatGPT and how I would use it, you did it right. Because you said how you instructed ChatGPT, what your question was. Okay, so we need volunteers. If you've been inspired by participating in the service here, you too can chant Torah. Barton, this is great having you back, probably the 8th or 9th time. It's okay. Well, 3. That's wonderful. Okay, so we need more to chant Torah. We need more live stream techs. So contact Michael Gordon to be a live stream tech and learn how that goes, and contact the rabbis or Marilyn Roberts to learn to chant Torah. We need you to sponsor an Oneg. That's the challenge. A generous donor has sponsored half the Onegs this Jewish year, and so we still need sponsors for the other half. So sign up. It's online, and I think there's a sheet somewhere as well. We're having an Oneg tonight, sponsored by Rabbi Myra. So join us in the, if you're here in person, join us in the social hall afterwards. And we're also having a Yisma Zoom for those who are online. You can go to sinaireno.org/Zoom, and you'll enter the special Oneg room. This Saturday, there's no Torah study. We're still on the school holidays, so we have an abbreviated schedule. Torah study will resume on Saturday, January 13th at 10 a.m. via Zoom. There's a lot of save the dates. There's no Sinai school this Sunday, December 31. The temple office is closed for New Year's on January 1st. That's Monday. Friday, January 5th, we're kind of back in force. There's a Kabbalat Shabbat service at 5:30. That's in person only. And then a regular Kabbalat Shabbat online and in person at 7:30 next Friday. There's still no Sunday school on Sunday, January 7th. We're having a Sinai board meeting Wednesday, January 10th. All members are welcome. Ask a board member for the Zoom link. There's a Kabbalat Shabbat service on Friday, January 12th, and Torah study resumes on Saturday, January 13th. Sinai School resumes at 9:30 a.m. on Sunday, January 14th. Okay, so you can also visit Sinai's online public access library catalog, and at sinaireno.org you can see our /catalog, you can see our entire library catalog. And there's a few more events in your announcements. Thank you very much.
Any other announcements? No. Okay. Join me on page 323 for Shalom Aleichem. Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharet, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech Malchei Hamlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Boachem leShalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon. Mi Melech Malchei Hamlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Barchuni leShalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon. Mi Melech Malchei Hamlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Veitchem leShalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon. Mi Melech Malchei Hamlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Please turn to page 241. In the middle of the page, I'm going to say the prayers, and you are going to respond, and the indentations, may it be so. Our God and God of our ancestors, bless us with this threefold blessing. May God bless us and keep us. May God's radiance shine upon us and be gracious to us. And may God's presence be upon us and grant us peace. Shabbat Shalom, everyone. Please join us. Thank you all.